The much anticipated wait is over.
Shadowman is back.
You are now watching WhoDooTV.
Welcome back to WhoDooTV. I'm Jared.
And I'm Hoosier.
Today we are talking about Shadowman #1. He is back. It is big. It is exciting. It is awesome. Couldn't be more excited.
And it is dark, and I am loving it. This book is written by Andy Diggle, art is by Segovia, and colors is by Ulises Arreola. I like what they did there.
Yeah, on the inside you can see it's Arreola, but they changed his name, and I think it's pretty fun to Arreola. It's interesting.
Little twist there.
Yeah.
And we're going to get back into Jack's return right now, and we're probably going to do some spoilers.
We are. So if you haven't read this book yet, be sure to pause this video, go read it, and come back and join us in the conversation.
But before you leave there, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get videos like this. And like us if you like this video. So come on aboard. We're doing some Shadowman.
Yes. This book starts off with Alyssa. She's been living life. She's been doing her thing. She's been still vigilant in, trying to deal with the supernatural, with the, the voodoo spirits and everything that's going on. And she's starting out by going and investigating this water source that seems to be making people sick.
Right, and we get some dialogue between her and this journeyman who's showing her around about her becoming a mambo herself.
Right.
And that she is learning these the dark arts more herself, and actually get to see some of her strife and thoughts about punk mambo.
Yeah, she claims she's not a mambo, which is interesting, and I hope we get to see more of that in the future. Possibly a clash between the two of them. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. But yes, this journeyman takes her deeper and deeper into the swamp, but then we find out that he's been working with this large, monstrous voodoo, possibly another Loa. It wasn't quite clear, but it's huge and monstrous and insane. And this journeyman has been leading people right into his trap.
Yep. And Alyssa tries to get away from him, and she ends up getting chopped into some sand, some quicksand type thing, and she calls upon another Loa to basically communicate with her to protect her, and out pops Jack.
Right. Jack comes out from the dead side, and he is back on Earth.
He kind of popped out like a Jack in the Box.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe those hands around him were pushing him out. They were just like, get out of here, dude.
But we get to see him, and he's in his magpie persona initially.
Yes.
To be really ripped off really quickly.
Immediately, yeah.
And they figure out they're in trouble right away.
And instantly, Shadowman is back. Shadowman his face switches back to the Shadowman coloring and everything like that, and he goes to fight, mano a mano with this huge other Loa, this other monster.
That Segovia panel of him being half and half, super awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
That was the panel of the book, in my opinion. I loved that panel. It was really good. And Jack goes, like you say, to punch this monster, and it's a little bit beyond his grade, so Alyssa kind of has to come in and save his butt.
A little bit, yeah, which isn't unlike how it used to be between them. He used to get in a little bit over his head, but this time he's also a little exhausted. I mean, he's been in the dead side for, we find out 5 whole years, and he's been, just trudging through and fighting. I mean, he's had his dealings with Master Dark. He's become Magpie. He's overcome those things. He's forgiven himself, and he's fought his way out, and he passes out, and Alyssa has to drag his butt back home.
This is where some of the best part of the book happens, in this middle piece of it, where Alyssa and Jack are talking back and forth. And she starts talking about the generations of Shadowmen and how he barely even knows any of it. He has not really had the training that's what she has been raised to do, is to be a Shadowman, to protect and to raise and help the Shadowman become Shadowman. That is something, and she pulls out her book with the Shadowman insignia right on top of it. And it gives a lot to me, what I believe to be some of the foreshadowing what we're going to see in Diggle's run.
Yeah.
Is Jack really learning how to be the Shadowman? Who is the Shadowman, Loa? More about the entrance, the doorway to the dead side, and just that connection. And like, to me, that right there excited me more than any of these fight scenes or anything, is to get the idea of what we're gonna get.
Right. Yeah, we also, in this moment, we get more of Jack's attitude toward the Shadowman. He still hasn't quite come to terms yet of accepting that the Shadowman is a part of him. He still wants to be a part of it, or away from it. He wants to separate himself from it. And he even goes as far as to say, like, I'm not having kids. I will not have anybody else carry this Loa. And Alyssa says, look, what's this Loa gonna do if it's not connected to a person? Like, that could be even more dangerous. And so he's still hard-headed. He's still, wanting to be rid of this in any way that he can. But Alyssa's there just to kind of guide him, and I think it's just a great relationship, I think, and it's I'm looking forward to seeing more of that, for her to really do lead him in that way of being the Shadowman.
And then we also get to see another villain kind of poke its head around and take over Alyssa's body in a projection or whatnot to have this conversation back with Jack.
Right, yeah, we get to see Baron Samedi again. He is doing his tricks, he is getting into things. And he shows Jack that he is in possession of his scythe. And Jack doesn't like that. Jack wants it back, and he's about to take a swing at Baron Samedi, and soon enough, he switches back to Alyssa, and we're left with him. His arm is raised, about to strike Alyssa, and it's like, dang, shoot, this is getting real.
Just from this one issue, I haven't read a whole lot of Andy Diggle's stuff. I know he did Year One Green Arrow, and I've heard really good things, positive things about that, but I really enjoyed this. This one issue was pretty good, and like I said, it leaves me nothing more to be pumped up for what's to come with Jack, what we're going to get with Shadowman, how much more are we going to learn about him, and how much is he going to learn more about himself.
Yeah, I feel like this book is a hallway, and we see the open door at the end, and that's the main story here. But we're walking past all these doors here. This book has left a lot of doors that, like, I really want to go back and open up and see how far can we go into those pieces. And I think this is the best way to start a new series, especially with an established character like this. Is we're walking down this hallway, the main storyline, we've got Samedi, he's set up as the main bad guy, but we've also got these little pieces in here. There was a moment with, this other Loa, this snake thing, in which it kind of declared that Shadowman has been pushed away from the pantheon of the Loa, and he's no longer allowed to be there. That's something I want to see more of, and just this relationship between Jack and Alyssa, and there's a lot going on here, and I think it's so good. There's just so much to look into this, and it's packed full of information. It's cool.
Diggle is said to have had 2 years worth of this book ready to go. And to me, this is one of these stories you got to try to be on for the long haul. And knowing that, and hopefully he's got the green light for all of them too, to where he could start writing the 24th issue today. You know what I mean? Why he's getting into the first book. It's really great to see these stories kind of play out when you actually do go back and read through issue 1 after it's all over. And I feel like there was a lot in this issue to where some of these things, like you said, you're going to uncover it, and you're going to see some of the picture frame in the first page kind of play a role. You're going to see just a lot out of it. And it's a dark story. It's a guy that has a dark past, a dark history, and he's trying to be a light in that darkness. And it's really a story that needs to be told too, and it's a character that I believe can play that really well. Shadowman's always been one of my favorite Valiant characters, and I did enjoy the part where they talk about music, and he goes, I used to play the saxophone as a kid. So if your original Valiant run, Shadowman loved playing his saxophone out on the street. It was awesome.
That's so true, yeah. Yeah, the artwork is so good in this one. We were talking off camera before, like, how cool does Jack look? How cool does Shadowman look right now, I love the look of Magpie. I think is super cool looking. But he's something else now, and I think Steven Segovia really takes that design, that old design that we've had, and just kind of pumps it up. I mean, it's just a lot more there, a lot more expression, and I don't know. I think it looks great. All of this book, it's a quality book, and I'm so glad we're getting this.
I think he's got a good mixture of all of the Shadowman renditions we've had. You know, he's not wearing the spandex, onesie that he had on in the Justin Jordan run, and it's not the Magpie persona. It's a good mixture of it, and it has some character of Jack Morse, and that's kind of nice too.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I do see a lot of parallels with this story, as we just did with Exo Manowar, with Sean Hara and Arik, and now you got Shadowman, Loa, and Jack. So that is one of my concerns, is that it doesn't parallel itself too much with story, with similar of trying to combine you two get along. That's kind of a concern I have of this story within Valiant, so I hope the editors kind of are aware of that and kind of don't let them be so similar to where we're kind of getting the same kind of story.
That's a good point, and I had never really thought about that. And I mean, there's so much more to explore with Jack beyond the relationship. I mean, that's something that we can definitely get to at some point, but I think there's just so much more to build upon in here. And I don't know, I think it's definitely going to be a lot more of a journey for Jack himself. I mean, in Rapture, we just got him forgiving himself for all these things that have happened in the past. And now we're picking up on that. And I think we just continue with that and, see how he's able to redeem himself in that way.
And like I've been saying, I think this is going to be the story where Jack puts his big boy pants on, right, and grows up a little bit. He was always a young guy in the very beginning of Jordan's run. And then hopefully these 5 years have matured him. And we get to see a whole nother Jack, a whole nother Shadowman, and we get taken to a really cool place with this.
Shoot, 5 years in the dead side. I don't think anyone's coming out of that unchanged.
It's going to be a little different for him.
Yeah.
But let's score this book up.
Yeah.
What are you getting at?
This one I'm going to give it, this one's a 4.5 for me. 4.5 out of 5. It's an awesome book. Really great stuff. I think, like I said, the artwork's so good. The coloring's amazing in this book. I didn't even mention that at any point in this, but it really is good stuff. And it, I'm going to ramp it up. This is a 4.75 because Andy Diggle did such a good job of creating a first issue that gives us a whole lot more. I mean, it really does point to what else can we get out of this? What else can we squeeze out of this story? And it's all presented right there in issue 1, And I think this is why we have 2 years already set up ahead of time, is because of this issue 1 right here and all the things sprinkled in there.
Right. What I like about this story is anybody who wanted to get into Valiant, get into Shadowman, can do it with this story.
Absolutely.
It was accessible, but it also had a lot for us that have previously read Shadowman. So I loved that. I really thought that was really well done. You could hand this book to anybody for the first issue, and they're going to be able to be just fine. But also for the fans that have been there along the run, we're going to know some things there. Loved it. Art, amazing, right? Great job. Killer. Colors, like you said, they were good. They were the dark tone, but just a nice palette to where it wasn't just black.
Yeah.
That was great. All around, I enjoyed it when you gave it a 4.5. That way we didn't have the exact same score. And I am giving it a 4.75 as well. I really did enjoy the story. Shadowman is going to be on the shelves for a little while, and I am happy about that.
Yeah, me too. Good work, guys, on this one. You're killing it.
Which iteration of this Shadowman do you like better? The original 90s run, the Justin Jordan, the Magpie, or this new one that's coming into play that we're kind of seeing with Andy Diggle and Steven Segovia? Put that in the comments down below.
Hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below.
There's also that subscribe button down there too. Make sure you punch that. We'd appreciate it. Follow us at Twitter at WhoDooTV, also on Facebook.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank our friends over at OutrightGeekery.com. Be sure to check them out. They got all sorts of nerdy stuff on there.
Links down in the description. Thank you for watching WhoDooTV. We appreciate you guys.